I wonder if there are any of you that looked at the existent library of tracks I chose to recognize from Amaranth's manifest and thought to yourself, where's Boom 1? You'd be right to ponder it. It would make sense, in fact, because this is one of the more dynamic pieces off the record from what I've heard. And in full disclosure, I did plan on covering it in the beginning, and I wish I had thought about this, that as the content producer here, if technical issues arise, I have the freedom to variate content structure if necessary. Because what you're seeing won't be a first impression, for the most part, of what's been existent with Amaranth in the majority of coverage I've offered here, with some exception that befits this model. It is a reintroduction. I have in fact heard the piece before. If I had realized, though, that I could listen to this track with you, apart from recognizing the video, it would have been Boom 1 would have been out much sooner. But yet here, well, maybe I'll have this out the same day, I don't know. Here we are, though. To return to Amaranth's manifest, which I intended to do upon a light bulb going off and going, I can recognize this work, because I have given exceptions to formatting number 1 on Amaranth in the past with the reintroduction model. That's in fact kind of where I introduced this, if my memory serves me correctly on that. No, actually it debuted of 9 Lashes, and I adopted it for Amaranth in several endeavors now at this point. But it was a great delight being able to introduce Amaranth. I told you this was coming, not just in the European metal and rock regard, I can't get enough of that, or specifically Swedish. I love metal in the Swedish territory and lineup. Oh man, their library is just killer. And Amaranth, beautiful energy on behalf of the diversified metal approach. I mean, so many different types of influences that get stressed in their songs, and I've loved humoring every one I've listened to with you. And with Manifest, the selection of tracks I spotlighted, it was an experience. Boom 1 would have been kind of cool to throw in the lineup originally, but when I was trying to get everything ready, the original video for Boom 1 did not integrate well with the software that I use to edit. So I'm not a tech guy, and rather than causing me a massive headache, I already deal with enough of those on a daily basis of many different types of issues or literal headaches, I admittedly for a little while pitied the experience of listening to Boom 1 being like, oh, I wish I could have recognized this one before a bell went off, and I was like, hey, why not just feature the song apart from the video and save yourself so much time in trying to make something work that seems impossible? Anywho, so we're back with Amaranth. Not necessarily the entrance point I would have liked to have ideally of Boom 1, but I'm sure many of you will forgive me, especially for you Amaranth fans who have, graced my presence, and I welcome your company, or maybe some of you are being freshly introduced. Maybe you know the name Amaranth and you've never looked at deeper than, maybe just a name's credit. I'm excited to bring them back on. I'm really looking forward to the track coming out pretty soon on behalf of, I think, Wednesday of this coming week. I'm looking forward to that. The newly announced piece I at the time forget the name of, but I'm still excited for it nonetheless. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Amaranth. I've loved taking the journey with you as I do many European talents and music generally. It is the first love of my life, and I love the fellowship component we share here in regards to mutual opportunities to explore good art, and Amaranth has so much of that offered. So, Boom 1, if you've never been introduced, or if you were dying to hear my thoughts on this piece, here you go. We're going to share in the experience together. Admittedly, again, from a bit of an unorthodox path. I mean, the video, given how epic it is, and I have seen it, it would have been cool to feature, but I had to, change the format, not out of a direct decision that I made, but one that my computer or technology out there said, we're going to be all buggy and not give you what you want. I mean, maybe I could have made it work, but it would have been a headache nonetheless. Here we go. Let's listen to Boom 1 together. At the very least, you're getting the song, right? Next best thing. A reintroduction. I have intentionally abstained, by the way, from listening to it for a little while, so I could at least enjoy it to some manner of fresh re-entrance. This is one of my favorites from them on the album. Man, that opener. I'm gonna miss Henrique on the newest album, but oh man, I love him. Can't wait for whatever he does next. Hold up, let me put my shades on. Let that pop in reality. And the pace of those, the rap, rock lyrics, man, I love it. And that in focus, just going on memory, that's what throttled an interest to me, to find a way to feature this again. Because the delivery here is just so good. I'm done. And then you have the entrance of Nils. That's a whole nother love for me. Oh, when his voice lingers like that, man. And a great twist.
Hey, let me try it.
We're gonna hear more of that on a new album. I hope there's some of it. These can really get down there. Okay, it's this section I love. Man! That is just such perfect precision. I've not heard another vocalist like that. Not to that speed. That subtle vibration when he sustains that key note. That's every time.
Wow, that's so cool, Gigi. What else goes boom?
The breakdown goes.
I forget who that is at the moment, but I know they have a relationship for some of the concerts they did together. Guest collaboration. The name's coming back to me. I don't remember it though at the moment. But I have seen it before. Oh, I love Nils. Man.
Shut up! Let me put my shades back! Cause it is killing me, getting to feel like I'm bitching, raging, and burning vicinity, aliens in the way, but it's one of us in front of the leg. Walking on bush, you're drinking that demon inside of me, mentally ill, you do. Hate disability, it's no disability, y'all will pass, but the wheels can pull.
The layering too, good choice. Nils just had such a nice classic throwback vibe on male vocals in the rock territory. Man, every time I listen to it, it feels nostalgic. That's such a dramatic piece. You notice it so many times in the Reintroduction model. I utilize it in part, and it won't be the last one from Amaranth. I have one more planned too. That'll probably be a surprise that not many of you will guess until you see it. It's a bit of a departure, but anyway, as I was saying, the Reintroduction model, my intention of covering music on this channel in grand manner is not out of just selfish desire. I want these to be a mutual experience of enjoyment. I want you to be able to take just a load off and sit back and enjoy good art delivery together. And perhaps I can inspire you to discover new talents that you've never been introduced to. Maybe you know the name, but you've never dig deeper, right? Amaranth. A talent that I, after how many tracks I've heard from them publicly on this channel, deeply revere. I just love their delivery, especially in the Swedish regard. They're just so freaking good. Boom 1 is an exquisite song on craftsmanship, which is what, again, compelled me when I was really thinking about it. And it was of real pity that I was sitting back being like, I was listening to it probably at the car at the time after I'd wrapped up coverage of Amaranth of current standing, and I was like, I really wish I'd been able to do that. But again, technical glitch prevented me. And at the time I just said, basically, well, sayonara to it, because I'm not going to deal with this all day. But the more I heard it and the more I recognized its own individual elements, like, this one deserves a spotlight, right? This is one of Amaranth's stronger pieces, for sure, on creative ambition. I mean, the vocals alone, the emphasis on Henrique, I love listening to him, but again, that faster pacing, I have never heard a vocalist reach that rapidity with such succinct perfection before. He just nails it in this song, but the isolation for his vocals, mixed with, of course, Elise's growl, I, again, need to hear more of that hopefully in the evolution of a new album, just one song or one moment, that'd be kind of cool. Because that was a point of interest from what I'm familiar with of her. But Nils, too, the matchup. I just love this band in terms of the vocal trifecta of everybody. And, as I said, it's a pity that, and for understandable reasons, Henrique left the group. But understandable, as I said. It's a pity, though, because I'm like, all three of you were so good together. You got the heavy set, and then Elise and Nils, which have a perfect overlap. And even Nils of Henrique, they've got a good balance, too. I love listening to Nils, though, on specific focus of him. Man, go. Every time I listen to him, it's like a throwback vibe in classic rock music. Every time. And I'm not speaking of the European credit, I'm speaking of American. There's just something about it that has a particular resonance. I've been a fan of his ever since I, in detail, learned his name through the Ad Infinitum collaboration of Afterlife. That song is still just so good. But Boom 1 on Craftsmanship, I love the organization of it, the rough energy. It's a fun track to take in. And if this is your first Amaranth experience, I hope it compels an interest for you to dig deeper. They really are a talented Swedish group, and again, in the metal regard, I find them in a high position of dominance. I've loved humoring their art, and their delivery always satisfies. I'd love to hear if that's reflected for you down below. Boom 1, like I said, is one of their strongest pieces on creative ambition. And the video, from what I saw of it, was executed quite brilliantly as well. I mean, imagined as a zombie apocalypse, that's kind of, typical for a lot of emboldened, rough songs. Admittedly, I've seen that played around with frequently, especially of recent years. But from what I saw of it, it was executed quite well. It was particularly grisly, but it was still, it matched the pacing of the song. I'd love to hear what your thoughts were, though, down below on Boom 1. And if you were wondering what my thoughts were, because this track didn't appear again in the original lineup of Organization as they were, portrayed at first, now you have them. And again, like I said, I wish it had been a first impression respect, but next best thing. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down below, as I said, and from whatever angle you approach. Whether you're a longtime Amaranth fan, I know there's many of you that fit that demographic or respect, or fresh encounterance. What did you think about Boom 1? I think it's one of their most superior pieces, for sure. And Amaranth's got a good supply that are really fun listens. Boom 1 is one I've always, again, the first time I heard it, I'm like, I wish I'd been able to recognize it, because the individuality to it, apart from the other tracks off of Manifest, and what it recognizes on part of the talents of Henrique, more so, but also the ambition of Elise, and Nils, as always. It's just such a good number. And energy, musicality, it absolutely delivers in every respect. I'm grateful I got a chance to recognize it and maybe compel an interest for you to dig deeper of Amaranth. I've got one more video planned for this, but as far as I'm concerned with Amaranth, as I've said many times, of a number of groups, doors always open for more. And we got that future track incoming. Be prepared for that. But this concludes our ride with Manifest, but it was a wonderful album to humor and selection. I really liked everything I've heard of it thus far. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.